Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you on this beautiful morning. Well, the weather could be nicer here in Warsaw, but it's still going to be an exciting day. Good to have you and welcome you to the second day of the Tech Lab. And in a moment, I will tell you what the Tech Lab is. My name is Janusz Dziurzyński, and I'm representing ABSL here, and specifically on this particular, the initiative of the Tech Lab. Where this idea came from, this is already a second day. We have first demo day. This is the second demo day, now today hosted by Procter & Gamble. But we already had one before. And the whole idea is to bring together big corporations with the startup and new technology community. As some of you may remember, we started several years ago very successfully with the ABSL Startup Challenge. But some time ago, throughout this journey, we concluded, listening very carefully to both the big companies and the small and mid-sized technology companies, that it makes a lot of sense to change the formula a bit. So from the formula of a sheer competition that was there to answer very vaguely defined business issues, we concluded that it's much better and much more pointed and focused to try to solve specific business challenges and specific business opportunities, taking advantage of the young and prosperous technology companies that will be able to answer to the very specific challenges that are coming to us. Now, that goes without saying that COVID changed pretty much everything. And now more than ever, this approach proves to be right. So here we go, second demo day, and we will try to continue on the idea of less of a competitive mode, but more of a digital platform that the ABSL Tech Lab is and we want it to be. Today, this event is sponsored by three of our distinguished sponsors, and you will see them in a second on your screen. This is Procter & Gamble, who is a host today. This is Citibank and Wood Special Economic Zone. These three partners together with us really move forward this initiative, and we are super happy to have this second demo day today with you. When it comes to the agenda of today, I will need a little bit of a help and some glasses here. We will start to open this event together with Ezra, who will join me in a second. And the flow is rather simple. After introduction from Ezra that we move to in a moment, we will have some inspiration keynote speech on a very interesting topic on basically meeting the black swan. And in a moment, you will see what it is, very inspiring story that is sort of inspiration to the rest of the day. Then we will move to the panel discussion. And obviously, if we are with P&G, we cannot talk different, but talk about customer and consumer. So this is exactly what we're going to do. Tomek Kowalczyk will take us through this panel. Pretty exciting and distinguished guests, but I will leave the pleasure to introduce them to him. And then we will move to the key part of the meeting, i.e. we will participate in presentation of three startups that we carefully selected for the second demo day. And from that moment, we will be able to interact, ask questions, and see the business proposition of what they and how they understood the challenge and how they want to respond to it. And then we will finish up within two hours. We should be done. And I hope it's going to be unforgettable 2 hours. I'm pretty sure about this. So now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Ezra. But before Ezra will take the floor, I will invite you to watch a short movie which will answer a very important question: what if?
At Procter & Gamble, we start each and every day by asking the question, what if? As in, what if we could figure out an easier solution to one of life's daily problems? Or a better solution? Or a more convenient, more sustainable, more innovative solution? For almost 200 years, we've asked, what if? Because the only way to find the answer is to start by asking the question. For example, what if getting your clothes clean could be made easier and easier and easier and easier and even easier? What if we could somehow make this and this and this smell like this, this, and this? What if we made a diaper that could hold a gallon of baby pee? As in a full gallon of baby pee. That could come in handy. What if dish detergent could save lives? Cute, precious, cuddly lives. What if we could make an eraser that was magic? As in literally magic. What if we applied what we know about cleaning dishes, hands, and clothes to helping clean the world's drinking water? What if we focused on solving more of the little problems so people could focus on solving more of the bigger problems? And what if after almost 2 centuries of asking that same simple question, we were still super obsessed with discovering new and interesting answers? Because what if your skin could be reprogrammed to act younger? Or what if a detergent could reshape your clothes? Or what if hair never changed with the weather? Or what if stains never actually stained? Or what if dishes cleaned themselves? Or, well, you get the idea. P&G.
Good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Esra Yavuz. I am Vice President in IT in Procter & Gamble. I'm leading data management globally for the company, and also I'm the Central Europe IT functional leader located here in Warsaw, Poland. P&G has a long-standing partnership with ABSL, and we are very proud to be one of the main partners of ABSL Tech Lab. You may ask why a diaper, detergent, or a shampoo producer decides to join an initiative like this. The film that you just saw is the answer. Innovation is a part of our company DNA, such as innovative products that meet consumer needs in a superior way, or technology innovation which helps us to create better value for our consumers, or innovative partnerships with our startups. Those are some examples. Hence, our partnership with ABSL, first with ABSL Startup Challenge, and now in ABSL Tech Lab. And why in Poland? It's the second biggest IT center of Procter & Gamble, and it's a center for IT-based innovation. We are specializing in data and analytics, DevOps, automation, machine learning, cloud, cybersecurity, and so on. And over the past few years, we have built some experience in partnership with startups. And I'm very excited about today to learn from everyone in today's sessions and also meet the 3 new startups. Thank you very much. And Janusz, back to you, please.
Thank you very much, Esra. Wonderful. Okay, so now we will inspire ourselves a little bit with the story from Małgosia Szturmowicz, who is a global CFO of Booksy, and she will get ready for the introduction to the meeting Black Swan. Over to you, Małgosia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Małgosia Szturmowicz, and I'm a CFO at Booksy. And today I would like to walk you through a presentation showing how Booksy faced the challenge of COVID. And in my presentation, I would like to show you how we adapted to the COVID times in order to keep momentum and continue delivering the value. Just a short introduction in case you don't know Booksy. Booksy is a beauty marketplace powered by a mobile SaaS platform. You're probably familiar with brands like Airbnb, Amazon, Uber. These are all disruptors in their industry. Booksy is such a disruptor in a beauty industry. And as I said, our solution is for merchants. So our main client is a owner of a small salon, beauty salon, and we are delivering him the SaaS solution. And on the other side, to the customers, we are delivering marketplace solutions so they can easily book an appointment wherever they want. And why did we choose beauty industry? It's because only around 5% of beauty bookings are made online. So the digitalization of this space is very low. And it's very painful for the merchants and also for the clients. So Booksy gives a lot of benefits for the client and for the merchant. allowing them to book on their own, and also allowing the merchants, our customers, to spend less time on admin calendar and to be able to improve the client experience when the client is in the salon. Booksy was recognized both for the lifestyle and also for the finance from the finance industry. This year was named in ranking Inc. 5000 in US as one of the fastest growing American companies. It was at the 299 place. And as you can see here, comparing to the competitors and our peers, Booksy is the one that has the most user experience, and majority of the users assess Booksy as one of the best apps. Going back also to the competitive landscape, what we are measuring, what's important in terms of our customers for us, how they engaged with Booksy and how happy they are. So for us, it's very important to know that around 85% of users express positive sentiment about our platform. How COVID impacted our business? This, what you can see here, is a result of lockdown on our business in different markets. We are operating in 6 markets now, and during lockdown, our merchants could not open their businesses. Majority of them didn't open business for more than 2 months. In UK, it was more than 5 months. Those clients do not have savings, so it was very difficult for them to pay for their services. You can see that in terms of Booksy, bookings created dropped rapidly. And on the other side, revenue from some of the sources like marketplace evaporated from day to day. What did we think then? What to do to help our clients during their lockdown? So we introduced different features that help them to survive through these difficult times. Together with Gazeta Wyborcza in Poland, we introduced action called donations to support your merchant in this difficult situation. On the other hand, also, we allowed in our application to buy gift cards as a present or just for you when you can use it when the lockdown will be lifted. But this will help your merchant to survive during this difficult time. Also, we are thinking how we can help our clients to go back to the business. So we introduced different features like online services to allow some of their businesses where it's possible to support their clients online. Also, I'm ready button when the business reopens, the notification that is running to the user of the application that the merchant is ready and the place is sanitized, so it's safe for you to walk in, as well as different type of forms, healthy and safety and COVID custody forms, which you can fulfill before you go to the salon. So the merchant is sure that the people that are visiting him do not have any problems with health. Also, we were started thinking maybe there are other verticals when we can start expansion. Before we were concentrating mostly on beauty services, but we realized that there are many other services that could use our platform, as this platform isn't only tailored to beauty industry. Actually, even in UK, we have a church that is using Booksy, and you can make an appointment to baptize your kid. So we started a project in Poland with banks and financial services. We didn't think really before COVID about that, but COVID opened new verticals for us that we didn't think before. We already launched appointments for BNP Paribas, Alior Bank, also some financial advisor and shops, not only in Poland, but also in other markets. We are negotiating with other partners. You may ask, how was it possible for us to adopt so quick to these difficult times? The first step which we took was to work on business contingency plan. So we are very open in a discussion with our employees about the company situation, especially that at the beginning of the COVID, we were forced to do some layoffs. We were open to tell them that it's the only situation and that it will never repeat again. So we wanted to ensure that we will preserve cash for the next coming months, even if our revenue will not be back normal to the end of 2020. What was also important, we appointed a COVID team member that was resolving issues at hand and initiate actions to be taken in the organization to support people that were working remotely. We made a roadmap of projects with priorities for a short term, and we were concentrating on the projects that were maximizing our cash flow. But what was also very important, we reviewed the business operations and we worked strongly on this to make processes to work much leaner, especially in terms of a back office. What also was important in terms of customer success and contacts to our clients was to give people in our teams freedom to make decisions and also make some mistakes. And last but not least, we were preparing to be the first when the dust settles. How was it possible for a company like ours? In our mission, customer was always in the middle of our attention. So we do believe that profit in business comes from repeat customers. So we have included in the DNA of our company customer loops to constantly focus on solutions and products that make customers' life easier and solve their problems. But what also very important, we are focusing to make customer happy and loyal. And as a result, we are having customers that are word of mouth evangelists. We are using those customers to help us to onboard new merchants to our base. They are our ambassadors and support Booksy in terms of know-how and problems they were facing during their onboarding. Today, we in the companies that make their service customer-centric to ensure they continue to satisfy their customers. What's the most important is to listen to your customers. In this, customer success team is crucial, but what we also do, our salespersons that didn't have any more work in terms of selling our products because during lockdown there were no walk-ins. They were sitting and answering phones from our merchants as a customer success workers during the onboarding process, but also during solving all of the problems of our merchants. We also focus to act proactively to anticipate the needs of our customers. So obviously they didn't reach us and they didn't tell us, give me everything for free or I will not repay you. Instead of that, as we knew that they face problems and struggling with their payments and with their bills, we offered 50% of discount to those customers that wanted to use our product during the lockdown. And if somebody didn't want to use it, we just canceled his fee and we told them that they can be back when they'll be back to business. So that was pretty much working very proactively their needs. Next thing which is crucially important in COVID times is building customer empathy into processes and policies. That's very important that to know that our customers are people that make decisions based on their emotions very often, and we really have to understand their pain to be able to answer to that. And last but not least is motivating our employees to stay engaged. Employees have a crucial role to play as they have direct impact for our customers. We should give our employees the freedom to work and take decisions concerning our customers, and we are focusing to do that. What's also crucial in these COVID times is just that agile becomes the next normal. The coronavirus provided a big lesson in agile companies. We connected agility with IT departments, but now we have the whole organizations that act on an agile basis. The situation made companies realize how important it is to be comfortable with change and willing to shift gears when it's necessary. The core values of Agile are perfect for the world we now find ourselves in. Those core values are known for all of you, but what's important nowadays is to establish a new norms that are up to date to today's situation, and also to adopt a virtual tools and sharing working space to allow our workers, our employees to work effectively. Also very important is to be very mindful and flexible with scheduling. It's very difficult to distinguish between the time when you have time for rest or relax and the time when you should have a video conferencing. So to schedule this is crucially important. Keeping the team building is also very important, especially that working remotely very often has the effect of feeling disconnected, and it doesn't have to be. In Booksy, we are scheduling a virtual coffee tables when you make your own coffee at home, and we are having like 50-20 minutes to chat, and we never know who'll be sitting on our coffee table. In Booksy, the values we value are very important for us because they're showing us the path of the right behavior, also of the solutions we should choose for our merchants. People first is about building relationships and applying a human touch to everything we do, not only to our external partners, but also and especially to Booksy employees. Acting like an owner means you are proud, passionate to deliver Booksy to the world. You take your responsibility for your actions to deliver results. Shoot for the moon, that's something that differentiates us from majority of the companies I know. It's approach taking where you look beyond boundaries and you look to take different approach when you hit obstacles. You are ambitious. And as I said, what's important, work as a team. Work as a team, it's all about being inclusive. COVID impacted our employees. We constantly keep serving our people by asking them questions, what they're facing, how we can help them. They don't feel safe coming to work and use the public transport. That's why we recommend everyone to work from home till the summer 2021. As an example, the top management works completely from home. We are reopening some of the offices for people that's struggling at home or lacking their own space at home, but that's really a little percentage of our people that go to the office. People cope with change and predictability. They lack social interactions, so we try to introduce different type of activities and try to make different plays online to show them that we can socialize also in these difficult times. What's important, they also are very overproductive. So very often they are losing results, they are losing balance between work and home. We encourage them to take mindfulness classes. We are having for them hours with psychologists when they can call and get support. Why is it worth doing, and why we believe that these values and the people that are working for Booksy brought us to the next level and helped us to adapt to this COVID times? It's due to the fact that people that feel that the organization responds well in this critical situation are much more engaged and much more productive, and also are reporting a positive state of well-being. And in the long run is very important. So summarize this, how managers can respond to those challenges. For the most important thing, apart from restrictions, sanitary restrictions at workplace or on the way home, it's very important to meet the need for safety and security of the persons that work for us. It's important to demonstrate compassion as a leadership team, to demonstrate vulnerability and empathy. It's important to know what our employees are facing, even if it's not on the board level, manager level, or just the team leaders level. What's also important is to be open in communication with employees, but also strike the right balance between realism about the challenges ahead and confidence that the organization will find its way through the crisis. Investing in relationship is also the answer to those who want to make those challenges. Be able to support employees so they can trust you. If they will trust you, if they know that they will find support, and you'll support them if you know what they are struggling with. Invest in the development of employee-to-employee relationship. That's extremely important, particularly for remote workers. Many of the best ideas will be bottom-up, so leaders often need only to create a space and the resources. In Booksy, we have a happiness team that are people from different departments, and they are just playing a huge role in all the ideas that support the well-being of our people. Create and maintain also a culture that values inclusion, individuality, and social harmony. As we face a future of different working models, building such an integrated culture now will only benefit organizations in the future. Very often is to create a network of teams that are cross-functional and are not within one hierarchy. This collaboration helps to address painful things of the organization and pressing problems very quick and effective way. Cultivate inclusion and psychological safety, encourage individuality, and allow team members to experiment without fear of negative consequences. And what's also at this last point here is help people to contribute. Connect people to something bigger than themselves and help them to contribute. How can you do it? A sense of purpose can help employees to navigate through this difficult time. So it's very often that is lacking in the companies. That's why it's important to explain not why we are doing something, but how we are doing something, and constantly link the changes back to your purpose. At Booksy, we are sharing stories about bringing purpose to life. Our CEO is sending weekly bulletins and showing not only business results, but sharing with us different films on YouTube, showing our merchants who are happy with our products and share their feelings. Starting a long-term conversation about purpose is very important, and that's important now to explain our employees that they play a crucial role in adopting to the new normal. Organizations that set a course focused on employee experience will create meaningful impact now, but as well in the future. And they adopt the company to the new normal very quick. Thank you.
Gosia, so much. First of all, congratulations on the wonderful journey and on the clear, very successful business model you managed to introduce. Two reflections. First one, it's always it always seems so easy when it's done. But to talk about these things that everybody understands and typically notes their heads and do it, those are two different things. And second thing, on one chart, I have seen clearly, we have heard empathy and understanding and trust many times. But on one chart, you talked about customer centricity. And this customer centricity was mentioned on the chart, if I counted well, 4 or 5 times, but you talked about this more than 20 times, which is a very nice way to introduce the next agenda item. So I will pass over to Tomek, who will take us through the panel. And during the panel, we will all try to follow the customer. Tomek, over to you.
Thank you very much, Janusz. As you mentioned, following the customer and using the final customer most current needs to adjust our product service offering is becoming crucial in the dynamic times, not only related to COVID, but also regarding all the technology changes and the digital revolution around us. My name is Tomasz Kowalczyk. I'm partner and growth and innovation designer in Rebels Valley. Me and my team, we are engaged as facilitators to help corporations being involved in ABSL Tech Lab to cooperate with young technological companies from all over the world, willing to cooperate with these big brands. I will have a privilege to moderate the discussion on following the customer. You have already met 2 of my fellow panelists. So Ezra Yavuz, Vice President, IT, Global Data Management, and CIT Functional Leader of P&G. You've already met Janusz Dzierżyński, one of the masters of today's ceremony, Vice President, Board Member of ABSL. But we have also here Małgorzata Bajorek-Binkiewicz, Head of Warsaw Custody Operations, CSC, SSO in City. We have Aga Szóstek, PhD. Aga is a strategic experience designer, author of the Umami Strategy book, and I hope she will share her expert knowledge on finding out about customer needs and all the cases related to designing experience. And last but not least, we have Konrad Kostrzewa, CEO and co-owner of Veturai. Veturai is one of the alums of ABSL Startup Challenge, so the previous edition of the program for young technology companies. And Konrad Kostrzewa is one of our success stories, as he's just now launching his pilot project together with P&G. So first of all, thank you very much for joining us today. And let's start with the first question. And the first question, we are going to dive deep together with Ezra. Ezra, from your perspective and P&G perspective, how really can we understand the customer right now?
Thank you, Tomek. Indeed, it's all about delivering value to our consumers and customers by driving irresistible superiority in our products, packaging innovation, consumer communication, and also in-store execution. I think it boils down into 2 things, data, analytics, algorithms, and speed and agility to act and deliver. We as Procter & Gamble strongly progressing in our journey of becoming algorithm-enabled company to better serve our consumers and customers' needs. And our ambition is to understand the consumers and serve our shoppers better than anyone in the industry. So this is a big ambition that we have, together with being an algorithm-enabled company. And we are having strong steps in our journey in order to achieve that. So our focus on data, analytics, and algorithms definitely help us in this uncertain, ambiguous situation that we are all going through, unprecedented times, which is global pandemic. And our capability to understand consumer behaviors and their shopping patterns proves us a value that during those global pandemic, how we can understand the patterns so that we can ensure our production, distribution, and availability of our brands at the times when our consumers need the most. So through our data analytics and algorithm capabilities, we get visibility, which we need to stay in front of the curve, to stay in front of the consumption patterns. And our data management professionals, data scientists, data analysts, data engineers, combining many signals that we used to have and also the new data signals that we get with the changing patterns. And then we try to turn them into insights and action that our supply teams and sales teams that act upon. So we are also in our journey of starting up our data hubs, which holds petabytes of data that the business relevant data that our business leaders can use and act real time. So this is all about enabling business value through data analytics, insights, and algorithms in Procter & Gamble. And I believe this will help us to continue understanding our consumers and customers and derive value for them.
Ezra, you mentioned all the activities related to your efforts to make P&G more and more digital and based on data and all the information you can gather from the market. Please tell us how difficult it is for such a well-seasoned company like P&G with vast market experience, but mostly focused on brick and mortar sales, so traditional product delivery to customers, to become more and more agile and more digital. How difficult and how challenging it is to apply technologies like AI, machine learning to your day-to-day processes.
Yeah, indeed, this is, as I said, staying ahead of the curve, understanding the changing trends and being able to act upon those. I wouldn't say it's easy. It's all about, we have huge experience in understanding consumers, but consumer habits and trends are changing as well. So it's important for us to be able to really get the signals, all the data signals that we can capture and identify them out of the noise and then make them meaningful and actionable for our business, that we can turn them into action. For example, we have been closely monitoring our e-commerce, e-business sales during those global pandemic, and we see 30% global increase in this part of the business. And we have been changing our business plans and actions in order to be able to meet where our consumers are and being able to serve those consumers. So I don't think there's a magic stick. It's all about understanding the trends, being able to ahead of the trends, being able to identify the data throughout all this noise and data signals and being able to turn them into action.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to move to Aga Szóstek. Aga, from the research and expert perspective, what's your opinion on the well-identified long-term changes and trends in the behavior of our customers and how they are affecting the market? For example, many of the companies which tell us that they are already digital and they are already so flexible still uses indicators like NPS, so Net Promoter Score. Is it enough for them to present that they are really customer-centric?
Thank you, Tomek. Oh, this is a big question. So if you think about customer experience as the domain, it has a very short history. It has started, it started being used and I would say fashionable a decade ago, maybe. So if you think about other disciplines like software development, industrial design, or other domains, their history is much longer. So if we think about it like this, the domain of customer experience is obviously in its infancy. And I believe that the Net Promoter Score, which is the measure that is being used by many companies right now, has been a very good start in a sense that it helped the companies focus and understand that customer needs and customers' opinions are actually quite important. However, the problem with any big measure, so like I'm not picking on NPS in particular here, but basically if you have a huge measure that measures a lot of things, it's very difficult to say what it is that it measures. And what often happens when I talk to my clients and when I'm talking to people within the field, they say like, okay, it measures customer experience. But the question is, what kind of customer experience? Because customer experience always is. It can be a really bad experience, of course, or it can be a really good one. It can be really standing out, or it can be completely, regular and not very much worth noticing. So, in a way, I believe that for companies that really want to go into being customer focused, it is worthwhile to think of something more concrete, of something that defines what their customer experience is about, rather than just measure the overall feeling of, whether the customers are kind of okay or maybe not so okay. Actually, there is one. So like I can imagine like a lot of people say like, yeah, but we do measure transactional NPS. So we don't only measure the relationship of NPS, so not only the tendency to promote the company, but also we measure the transactional NPS measured on the different touch points. But there's a bit of a trap in it because, I'll illustrate it with a story. I've been working with a client and one of our jobs was to redesign invoices. So basically, we redesigned the invoices. It got perceived as a really good redesign, but at the same time, the NPS went completely down. And of course, like everybody came to us and said, like, okay, like what happened there? Like, why is NPS going down if people like the invoices that you designed? And the thing was that when we designed the invoices so that they were understood, suddenly people understood what they are paying for. So they were not annoyed with the invoice, they were annoyed with the fact that they suddenly realized that they are paying much more than they expected they were paying. So as you can see, if you measure transactional NPS, so you measure one touch point, there's a history that leads to the touch point. And very often this thing is not really being considered as an element that influences that particular measure. So when I'm working with my clients, what I'm trying to do always is to ask them to choose differentiators, focus on something that they want to be really extremely good at. And you cannot be good at everything. You can be really good at 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 things, but no more. But if you choose these things and start building your competitive advantage based on them, then you can actually create an experience that's recognizable and being talked about. There's one. Yeah.
Okay, finish. I have one more sentence, one more question in order to get a bit deep.
Yeah. So basically, so the one trap with thinking about differentiating yourself is that you cannot be just one step ahead of the competition. You really want to stand out truly. So you really want to be recognized by this. That's
so in one sense.
That's the end of my sentence.
Do you believe that the current COVID situation has only boosted the trend that was focused on customer experience and getting more closer and closer to the customer? So is it only a boost, or has it changed something in the way of thinking of both the customer as well as the corporate world? Mm-hmm. But please try to stay within one sentence because we need to move to other topics.
Sure, of course. So I'm sure that there's a number of changes, of course, but there's one big change. People became much more aware of how they want to live their life. They are much more conscious about their choices. So they are maybe not as much following what's going on, but they are thinking about what would be the life that they would like to live. And therefore, if you want to tackle those needs, you cannot only be reactive, but you have to be proactive, and you have to look for the aspirations of people and think of how you can make them become the versions of themselves that they would like to be. And this is a way to think about customers, in my perception, today.
Thank you very much, Aga. Konrad, Veturai is providing tools helping large organizations, like, for example, P&G, to understand and meet their customers and understand their needs and reach them with relevant information or relevant communication. But from your perspective, how different are the online and offline customers? And is this process of becoming more and more digital for the customer perspective, is it revolutionary or evolutionary?
Thank you for the question. I think it's a very complicated matter, and online and offline customers are still the same people. The only thing that differs is the mean of communication with them. So I wouldn't say they're different. Maybe when they do shopping online and offline, they try to satisfy different needs. The needs that you do offline is probably more urgent, and the needs that you're trying to satisfy online is not that urgent. You can wait for the delivery and so on. And probably when you do shopping online, then you can compare more products. Maybe your decisions can be more thought through. When you're at the point of sale, your decisions are more spontaneous. So these are the key differences that we see between them. What you say about gathering data from both of the customers, learning about them and satisfying their experience, I would say it's more evolutionary. We're trying to use the same tools. Of course, everything started online because we had more data online. We could learn more about our customers online. But now I think we are entering a new era where we can also use machine learning, also called AI, directly at the point of sale for the offline customers. We can use tools such as computer vision to understand customers' pattern in the store, calculate the time they spend queuing, or even match every transaction that is made at the point of sale with customers' demography. And I think this is the evolution of machine learning that started online. Now it's going offline. And if companies will apply those new technologies to their business, they will lead the market and attract more customers.
Thank you. And because you are working with companies from different industries, like banking or FMCG or automotive, and actually, for example, comparing banking at FMCG, can you see some significant changes in what those companies are looking for in terms of data about their customers, final individual people that are using their services? So is it really so different for them to use your services?
No, actually not. In this case that you've just mentioned, we want to learn pretty much the same thing about every customer, no matter what we sell. So maybe the things we do for the automotive industry is quite different. There we solve difficult technical problems. It's not a customer-oriented, these are not customer-oriented projects, but as you said, for banking or retail or production, it's all about learning who is our customer, what are his experiences, how does he or she behave. So these are the things all the companies look. They look at the customer's demographics. They want to know what they are interested in, what interests them the most, how to attract more customers, what advertisers show them to make them more interested in the products and so on and so forth. So all those companies, except for, of course, automotive, are trying to learn pretty much the same thing about their customers.
Thank you very much, Konrad. Janusz, I would like to use your experience, both in terms of co-leading ABSL, so Association of Business Service Leaders, but also to use your tech experience. When I was preparing for the panel discussion today, I saw the LinkedIn post of Victor Schmidt of NetGuru. And Victor asked if the future is for banks or fintechs. And one of the replies was, how should we really define bank right now? Because the world has moved so far away from the moment when the bank definition was invented. So first of all, do you still believe that this division between market sectors and industries is still relevant? And what technologies really affect these industries and move them either towards themselves or totally separately?
Oh, hell of a question. Thank you. I would agree with Konrad, who, by the way, I sent best regards to, that the blend of the traditional sectors is moving. I mean, the distinction is kind of blurring, and we've seen that before. Banking and fintech is an excellent example of how this sector of pure, sheer traditional banking has been transformed over the last couple of years. That happened before pandemic. So banking, many banks and many insurances joined their forces, and I will not give you examples. We see it around ourselves. This is not unusual, and the FMCG companies, so CPG companies like P&G and the others, were always very close to retail. But to be honest, this current events of the last several months, I have impression, and I can see this through our clients and customers, that it accelerated this journey tremendously. Like it boosted the whole thing, like we were supercharged or all of a sudden. And who is behind that? It's a consumer. It's a customer who expects seamless and easy, almost indistinguishable ability to get services and get products without necessity of thinking twice, including all the limitations that the COVID imposes. The booming of e-commerce is probably the best example of how this everything just blends. So I will not be going more in this because everybody can sense and feel that. So yes, of course, this blend and the seamless junction of multiple sector is happening. Was happening before. Now it's accelerating like crazy. And those who are able to adapt and adjust to this phenomenon faster, obviously will win. You also asked the other part of your question. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was about which technologies actually drive those changes.
Yeah, answering this question would be tricky. I would probably answer this differently. Any technology that would tackle three of the most predominant areas that I see with the companies I interact with on a daily basis that will solve their issues. And here, number one is, and everybody would probably guess it, number one is what? Number one is supply chain, because this whole situation disrupted supply chain tremendously. So from the beginning up till the end, with all the visibility of outages, out of stocks, discontinuous transportation, and unavailability of products or even raw materials, visibility throughout the supply chain, smoothness of delivery at the shelf and to the consumer, not even talking about the ability to go to the big shops, small shops, or purchasing online. This area suffers tremendous disruption. So this is space number one. This is where agile and very well informed and proactively managed control towers or any kind of simple analytics that provides this visibility into supply chain, the track and trace. Track and trace seem to be a song of the past. Everybody knows how track and trace works. Not at all. Today, track and trace is taken to a completely new different level, and the need is substantial. Second area is analytics. But not a number of you, Ezra mentioned analytics and many others mentioned analytics, but now analytics has a different aspect. All of a sudden, people who are talking about analytics as pure business intelligence, so BI, all of a sudden everybody talks about data, data scientists, data engineers, and how you actually plug in on analytical power to take advantage of the latter two. I mean, this is a language. Those are the things that we didn't see before within the companies here. And the last but not least, last sentence, I promise, is the need for flexibility and adaptation to the, for example, to the promotional activities that we do in the stores. The necessity of to see how our promotions move forward. And this responds to the question of how we should adapt, how we should understand the customers and clients, and loops back to the fact that the sync, for example, between FMCG and retail is disappearing. I mean, the ability of the FMCG companies to see what actually happens at the store at the retailer for the same consumer becomes more critical than ever. Any technology, and I will again not mention any specific one, you can understand, and you definitely work with all of them, that helps solving these three areas has become more critical than ever.
Thank you very much, Janusz. And as banking industry reappeared during our discussion, actually, I would like to move to Małgorzata, because just recently I've had an opportunity to discuss with one of the innovation managers coming from the banking industry, from another US bank present in Poland. And he said, both our employees and customers, clients, use Netflix, use YouTube, use all these instant services on demand. So when they want something, they receive it. And he said, we understood that we have to become more like those companies, so that we have to act instantly in order to secure the needs of our clients and customers as soon as possible, because they are used to it. And normally for banking industry was not in a hurry. And from your perspective, is the role of corporation like yours is to follow the needs of your clients and customers, or is it about trend setting and building new standards for the industry?
I would say that it's about both. So generally, of course, we need to provide the client with what the client is asking for. But at the same time, before we will come with the final response or solution, we definitely need to understand what the client wants, but also why the client wants a specific solution. And why is that? I often observe the situation when the client comes with very specific requirements with regards to a process setup or product, but sometimes we see that this is not necessarily the best solution for this client. We may propose something different, maybe something different from the client is asking in the first place, but in the long run, it can be a better solution for the client because this is more scalable. It also creates opportunity for the client to grow that client's business going forward. At the same time, when we listen to the client, it allows us to become better corporation, better organization, and also to think about our offering from a different perspective and a little bit different. We have a number of examples whereby we found out that some ready products, ready offering can be utilized in a completely different way. So the purpose, the specific product has been designed was a little bit different from the final solution. And it happened just because we were listening to the client, we were trying to understand what the client is looking for. Coming to being a trendsetter, definitely that's something that is happening and need to happen. Otherwise, client will simply find out another organization. So again, what we can see is that thanks to the strong presence of corporations like Citi across the world, with the wide range of different products, but also very different clients with very different needs, we can come up with solutions that are answering some needs that are not necessarily explained directly by clients. A good example, the recent example, is that Citi introduced something called proximity. So this is kind of a platform that let clients quickly and smoothly use proximity as a proxy voting platform. It was something that initially was used internally. It was something created within Citi by Citi employees, but it showed up to be something that can be used amongst other financial institutions and is actually answering that need of speed to market, easy solutions, accessible solution, something that clients are looking for.
Thank you, Małgorzata. And actually, Ezra, because Małgorzata focused mostly on service operations, serving the customer, serving the client. Of course, she also mentioned new tools, but from the tech and digital perspective, when I usually talk to people, not only from the startup world, but also from the business corporate part of the ecosystem, they say, you know, Tomek, corporations are not so prone to use new technologies because, first of all, we need to secure value for our shareholders. We need to limit the risk and risk exposure. So that first, it must be checked in order for us to be implemented. And being a trendsetter is a bit opposite to this approach. And from your perspective, how ready organizations like P&G are to be digital trendsetters, competing with new coming startups or new coming companies?
Thank you, Tomek. As I said at the opening, innovation is a part of our company DNA, and to innovate and as I also said, the things are changing, and especially in the times of unprecedented COVID-19 global pandemic, we need to stay ahead of the curve, and we need to keep up with the pace of the change. And I also shared in the opening, like, we value a lot the partnership we have with the startup, and innovation is in our blood and DNA. Yes, we are a big company, and we may need to be risk averse, but actually I am thinking about the reverse, because the innovation is in our blood, and we need to think ahead and innovate. So I'll give you two examples that I believe technology innovation helped P&G to be a trendsetter in this part of the business that we are doing. One is related to IoT example, and I'll give an example about oral care business that we are in, like the Oral-B power toothbrush, like how we have embedded the technology in terms of the product that we produce for our consumers. And we collect data through this, of course, with the consent of our consumers, so that we can turn this into an experience for the people, for our consumers that are using our products, and turn this into oral care advice and education, and like having a dentist at home. And this is, I think, a technology trendsetter that Procter & Gamble has played in. And also the other thing that we have been the biggest advertiser of the world, and it has started as being mass advertisement, but the world is evolving, things are changing, and we realize the importance of one-to-one connection and being able to understand consumer and having a one-to-one experience with that. So we were able to put the platform, technology, data, and solutions and applications that we can reach out to our consumers in a one-to-one manner, and also help them to get the value and also meet their needs. So this is another thing that I would say as a trendsetter and being innovative and maybe a risk taker at times. And of course, saying that, I wouldn't stop without bragging about my team here in Warsaw, Poland. So we are around 500 IT professionals. And as I said, we are the second biggest IT center for the company. And we have passionate business and IT leaders located here in Warsaw who are dedicating their time, energy in terms of meeting business needs and consumer needs, leveraging technology. And as we are here today to learn more from startups, so I think it's an ecosystem that we should all leverage and nurture in order to be the trendsetters as big companies as well. So I would say P&G is progressing ahead very well, and hopefully the examples that I have given helps everyone to understand a bit more. So thank you.
Thank you. And Aga, from your perspective, you work both with large organizations as well as with small entrepreneurs. We have heard that both these large brands, P&G and Citi, they have resources, they have awareness of the role of customer-centric approach. Actually, they put it into the strategies. But from your opinion, but please try to be precise because our time is limited, how strategically prepared are large organizations and corporations for really answering flexibly and in an agile way the real and changing needs of the customer? You are muted.
My short answer is not very. And I'm absolutely agreeing that companies understand how important this aspect of having strategy on experience is. However, I've been once talking to one CEO who told me that he's been educated in running business strategy, financial strategy. He's never been educated in running experience strategy. And I think that this is a challenge of many executives and many leaders today, that they really struggle to understand, that they understand the need for it. They just struggle in ways on how to implement that.
Thank you. Last but one question, this time to Janusz. Janusz, again, in one sentence, listening to the current discussion and based on your experience, would you rather trust information coming from all these IT tools and so on, or a gut feeling of an experienced salespeople who cooperate with clients and customers on a daily basis? Do you believe that technology is so powerful it has already surpassed people's experience, or should we somehow combine it? What's your opinion on this?
Thanks for giving me option to combine, because this is probably going to be the right answer. In the setup that everybody knows, the people, technology, and processes, we see all three disrupted these days big time. And all of them are changing. Think about processes, right? We are having these meetings and everybody got used to these meetings so much that right now, which was unthinkable a few months ago, this is a normal way of doing conferences and meetings, right? Simple example. And we change as people as well. Consumer change big time, moving to e-commerce big time, right? But I would put my bet on technology because this is the big differentiator. And finally, I think there is no option but to move forward and take the good elements of the technologies that will take us to the next era, because things will never be the same after this disruption with pandemic.
Thank you. And to sum up our discussion, I would go back to Małgorzata. Gosiu, actually, I love books of Philip K. Dick, and he said he predicted that corporations will reshape future societies. And on the other hand, now we can see that these are customers that are actively changing the companies that they're trying to sell them goods or services. So which of these paths will be a future path for the world? Corporations affecting the society, or society's individual people affecting corporations?
Society would be impacting corporations, and we see it on a daily basis. Even observing what is going on in societies with regards to inclusion, to diversity, to focus on being environmental friendly. all those elements on the top of technology are also impacting the way corporations are behaving now.
Okay.
Also,
so
when we look at what is happening, okay.
No. Please continue.
I will come back to COVID-19 because that also extremely changed the way corporations are acting. And this is to some extent also impact of the society. Corporations just need to be open for new ways of doing business, for new ways of communication, for new ways of even processing client orders. So using all those technology tools that are available, corporations are just changing to meet client needs at the end of the day.
Okay, so for all my panelists, this is all the questions. Thank you very much for your opinions, for your comments, your lessons learned for all our guests today. I believe we all presented some tools and different opinions, not always very positive for large corporations, not always positive for startups. It was a pleasure to discuss it with you. Janusz, Ezra, please, the floor is yours for the rest of our event.
Thank you very much, Tomek. I think this
sorry. Yes, it is my turn.
When we move to the startups, yes.
Yeah, we are moving to the startups. Actually, I read the wrong line in the script. So yeah, the floor is still mine. So having listened to all the discussion, I would like to invite you all to listen to presentations of future market leaders, not only from Poland, but also internationally. So we'll hear about companies that are willing to help large corporations like P&G to be more and more client-centric, to be more friendly to our customers, according to the results of our panel discussion. And the first company today to show their pitch is Wise. Okay, sorry, I've received information. It's Brainly. So Polish market leader, educational edtech, Brainly.
Hello guys, sorry I was muted. It's a pleasure to being here. My name is Michał Frasiński and I'm responsible for direct sales structure and cooperation with brands in Poland, Russia and Romania. Thank you for being here. Presentation please. Brainly is the world's largest online learning community for students, parents and teachers. Every student in the world can visit Brainly, ask educational related questions, or find help by using millions already added pieces of content. Our goal is to provide access to high quality personalized education to all students all over the world. Currently, about 250 million users every month use Brainly in 35 countries. Brainly is a Polish product and we have built our position here for about 10 years. 10 million users monthly on Polish market translate into 90% of penetration in all students groups, which means it's also 90% of penetration in the group of 12-15 years old students. The solution we are proposing is based on in-depth analysis, experience, and knowledge about the Generation Z and Generation Alpha. So what is our solution? We are going to organize wellness weeks sponsored by Procter & Gamble. Why? Nowadays, teenagers are facing many health and wellness issues. The generation is different. The time is different. At first, we need to redefine their concerns to then address right solutions. Based on data research, Brainly and Procter will create content that addresses students' highest concerns. Systematically, Brainly will organize online events to focus and put more attention on particular topics important for our young consumers. Almost all students in Poland are present at Brainy. We will use it and support our actions by most engaging ad formats for the Generation Z and Generation Alpha, which allow us to reach almost all students with educational and marketing communication.
If I may have a question? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, well.
This has been super fast way of presenting you. If you could give one specific example of the practical business use of the technology, you mentioned P&G. How does it work in one specific business case that you are solving, and how do you know this is successful?
So we are speaking here about the consumers. You call them consumers, but I'm call them students. You can find hundreds of marketing solution and communication solution. It's 21st century, right? But we believe that the crucial is to create a bond with your audience, with your target group, to show that the brand is actually carry of teenagers. Only this way, instead of consumers, you will create trusty believers. And it's far higher than just a consumer, because someone who starts to trust you stay with you longer. And this is from the business standpoint really important. And the solution actually we're providing, it's not typical selling solution. We actually not selling, we helping teenagers. Selling is just the result. So what I want to say is that not only Procter, but all such big, huge corporation like Procter has responsibilities for civilization, for teenagers. So we want to give them opportunities to show them how can do this, how can they help them, and that's why this bond I mentioned at the beginning is super important.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Anyhow, this is Yes, Tomek, thank you very much. Michał, thanks a lot for the presentation and introduction. My question is about, thank you. Your prime prospect is 12 to 15-year-old teenagers, and you talked about trust, and you are building trust, which is very important. Can you share about data privacy and security components about your platform? I think this is one of the important elements probably many of us have in mind and would like to learn more about that from you. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Because our target, our audience is really sensitive. We working with teens from 6 to 19 years old, and we have to carry off their privacy. And we have dedicated team at Brainly dedicated for data privacy. And actually in Poland, Brainly users can't use Brainly without the allowance of parents. So in the case you are 13 years old or lower, first you need to ask your parents for permission. And this is how we work. Users has all privilege and or power to decide what data they can share with us or what they can't. But what I want to mention one more time, we have super sensitive audience in our hands. So it's big privilege, but it's also big responsibility. And we doing everything which is possible to be aligned with all governmental rules, not only on Poland, but other 34 countries we cooperate. We work there.
Thank you.
Okay. So thank you very much, Michał. Thank you very much, Brandy, for a presentation. It was great to have you
My
here.
pleasure.
It's great to have you being engaged in the program. and fingers crossed for your future steps within this initiative, of course. Okay, and now let's move to the second company that is going to present their business proposal, value proposition today. And it's also one of the leading Polish young tech companies. It's JustTag.
Hello, my name is Rafał. Thank you for invitation. I'm from JustTag. I'm Business Development Director here in JustTag. Please listen our video about how just tagging can answer for all matters concerning customers, understanding them, and of course, opening this whole disruption that you are talking about before my video.
I'm Rafał from JustTag. Thank you for invitation. If you would like to be consumer focused, first of all, we need to understand them. However, today's world is more complex, having many dimensions from which place and time seems to be the most relevant. Knowing where and when exactly consumers are buying, where they live, where they are spending their free time, how far they have to the nearest shop where they can buy your products. This is a crucial knowledge which enables you to address the right product for the right audience in the right place and time. However, possession of this knowledge is only a first step. Ability to convert this knowledge into the real activities is vital. That's why we brought to life JustTag, where we are gathering, transforming, and converting data into the real marketing activities and insights. Focusing on consumer is to be as close as possible with them. With our technology, we are able to gathering data from mobile devices with precise information, accuracy below 2 meters about position of your customer. Did he really visit the shop? Did she really go to doctor's office? That knowledge, which we call offline behavior, we are fulfilling by online behavior of users, which we also collect in our data management platform. Practically, we are able to address your marketing communications not only basing on demography, interest, buying intention, social and job status, but also on their offline behavior. What exactly shops their visits, how often and when. Last but not least, you are able to measure effectiveness of these activities, including the most important, how these activities impact on their offline behavior, like shopping visits. Using our solutions, you will be ahead of your consumer. Thanks.
Ezra, I can see that you have a question for Rafał, so please.
Thank you, Tomek. Rafał, thanks a lot for your presentation. I have two questions actually, which is very similar to the one that I have asked me. How about consumer consent? So you have mentioned that you collect, it looks like Big Brother watching you. So tell about the consumer consent that before you collect this information. And second question is, tell us more about point of differences. There are many companies out there that get this and try to convert this into an activity and an action. But tell us more about your point of differences. What makes you unique in this content? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ezra, for this question. Very crucial. First of all, we are trusted partners as a IIB, and when we are gathering our data with our partners, because of course we are cooperating with partners like big portals, like big app developers. We are on all IIB trusted as a IIB trusted partners, first of all, and we are GDPR ready. We can say we have our own lawyers that covers this topics. As you probably many of you know, all NetSprint called right now Audience Solutions. So we are also one of the biggest DMP platform in Poland, which is also GDPR ready. So we are fully ready for this. Also helping our clients, helping advertisers as a consultancy to address this GDPR case, not only in Poland, but also in the European Union. So we are here totally, we can say, transparent. So I hope I answered your first question. And the second, as I understand, was what is the difference? What makes us unique? What makes us unique is this is data is, we can say, we are called them, they are hard, not estimated, and they are, we can say, real from mobile devices, because we are inside, we can say, mobile device of users. Maybe not just that all concerns Polish, but probably people that are here on this call, on this meeting. And we are able to address this in very precise manner, because we're not collecting GPS signal, but we are collecting data from Wi-Fi networks that are nearby, and we can call them as, for example, shop name, for example, tank station, or other matters, and that's, we are connecting Wi-Fi signal with the position of the users, and that's why we are so precise. We are estimating that our precision is below 2 meters, so we are able to answer the questions if somebody was near the shop or go into the shop, like for example, like some Proctor's retailers, that we can answer this question. We can say in the real time.
Very helpful, Rafał. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Rafał, congratulations for the presentation. I also have two questions, if I may. First one is, if this is not a secret, if you can unreveal for the audience one specific application example of the technology and solution that you apply. So that's first one. And the second one, it's great to hear and great to understand the smart way of just tagging, i.e. collecting all this information. This is a great name, by the way. But how do you, and if you think about more advanced integration of this data with the existing data and platform of your clients, because this is not a trivial thing. And only completeness of the data gives you actually the complete insight. So two questions, one of the specific business case, and second one, your strategy of that more advanced integration. Thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes, answering the first one, unfortunately, there are Polish names. It is called Janosik, for example, and Jak dojadę. So maybe I can send links after the meetings, because they are the Polish names, so they are two specific applications, and partly we are in some onet.pl applications, not all of them, but partly with some of them as a SDK integration, but it's more technical, so it's not time to answer this question in detail. And the second question, sorry, could you repeat the second question?
It was a simple one. The answer would be easy, but it was about ability and your strategy of integration of this data back to the core systems and other data sources for the client.
Yeah, so we are right now working on, we can say, people's graph. So we are in one place collecting, we can say, mobile indicators, web indicators, and also applicate indicators. And that's why we will be able, to fulfill also the client's data, because they are not only connected with webs, but also with offline data.
Okay, thanks, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rafał. Thank you very much, JustTag. And now it's time for our last startup pitching company, so WiseShelf. WiseShelf is an Israeli company, but also already present globally, internationally. So we have a team here with us. Team, as far as I know, you are in Perth in Australia, so that we are in different time zones. Please tell us about WiseShelf value proposition.
Thank you. Are you going to do the presentation now?
No, just say hello and we'll have your presentation.
Sorry, everyone. Hello, how are you? Thank you for the opportunity to present. Our value proposition is being able to provide retailers visibility of their on-shelf stock levels, being able to tell them exactly where the product is located on the shelf and the number, And we can do that through a number of different hardware applications, being a shelf topper, a shelf camera, and we have a quite a unique wireless power solution, so we don't need to be hardwired, and we can power wirelessly for the first time in a retail setting with excess power, if you like, to be able to be applied to other appliances such as electronic shelf labeling. So yeah, if we can go to my presentation now, I think that's appropriate.
The theme for today's presentation, It All Starts with Consumer Focus, holds special meaning to WiseShelf, as it is for this purpose that WiseShelf was founded. In 2016, Superfarm, Israel's largest pharmacy brand with over 400 stores across Israel, Poland and China, approached WiseShelf wanting a technological solution which addressed the most frustrating issue a consumer can experience when at the retail shelf, an out-of-stock. Tasked with this brief, WiseShelf developed and patented a unique solution using light sensors on the shelf and image recognition cameras to deliver to retailers and CPG companies real-time data of on-shelf availability and an actionable alert system which enables retailers and CPGs to avoid out-of-stocks and deliver to their customer a shelf stocked at all times with their desired goods. At the conclusion of our trials, WiseShelf delivered for Superfarm some impressive results, including a 50% reduction in out-of-stocks, planogram compliance improved from 70% to 98%, a 40% improvement in replenishment processes, and delivered a 2% increase in sales. Out-of-stocks is a problem globally, costing the retail industry $550 billion in lost sales, causing at times irreparable brand damage to retailers and CPGs when experienced by the consumer. The retail shelf is the most important piece of real estate in the retail world. It's where the retailer, CPG and consumer meet every day. There has been great investment by all stakeholders in the area of space management. However, planogram compliance and out-of-stocks are a continued area of lost sales. Planogram compliance continues to be approximately 70% across the industry, and out-of-stocks track at roughly 4 to 10% for some promotional items. So what are we to do? In the context of It All Starts with Consumer Focus, there is common ground for the three stakeholders in the retail equation. The consumer wants convenience, an efficient in-store experience, and the product available on the shelf at the advertised price in the same location each shop. WiseShelf assists consumer-focused retailers to deliver to their consumer needs through a wireless IoT platform which provides real-time on-shelf availability data to avoid out-of-stocks, improve planogram compliance, increase sales, improve store efficiency, and increase customer satisfaction. We hope to be in a position to help you delight your customers. Thank you, and we look forward to your questions.
Okay, so thank you very much, team, for the presentation. And now time for questions. Actually, I would like to invite Konrad, who is here with us from Veturai, because you are both helping corporations and retailers, PCG companies, to reach customers. Konrad, do you have any comment on the presentation of WiseShelf that we have just seen? Maybe questions, maybe some lessons learned from the Polish market?
Yes, I do. I mean, I have a comment. Like, first of all, congratulations for your international expansion and solving a very difficult problem. As you've mentioned, this out of stock might generate a huge loss for the companies. And my question is, because that's what I maybe didn't pick up from the presentation, or something that is important from the machine learning perspective, that what we do you provide any kind of forecast on out of stocks, maybe of daily forecast, maybe weekly forecast, to give a signal to the shops whether they should start supplying now, because maybe the item is not only on the shelf, but maybe they have to place an order, it has to be delivered to the store. What are the methods, and what do you do to solve that problem?
Sure. So thanks for the question. We capture the data in real time through a number of different sources, whether it's the shelf topper, which is a light sensor, which tells us exactly where the product is located on the shelf, or via the camera. So our system is integrated in that once the information is captured, we set it up in accordance with the business rules. So in terms of how many facings, it's all done in line with the planograms, and that will be how we understand the shelf is laid out. We then, once the product is then drawn down and a minimum level might be hit, an automatic alert is sent to an in-store team member to come to the shelf to replenish the shelf. Or we can integrate right back to, if there's no product actually at the back of the retail store, we will integrate back with the retailer's distribution center, or if we're allowed, straight with the supplier, and we then pull products straight from their DC. So the intention is that we're eliminating out of stocks because we're actually proactively doing it in real time. So we would actually generate reports on a weekly, daily and a weekly basis, but it's actually happening as the day is unfolding.
That's great. Sounds like a very complex solution.
Thank you very much, Konrad, for your question and comment. I will have just one simple and short question, and then I will pass the voice to Ezra. How much time is needed for your tool to be implemented in the infrastructure of the sales place of the shelf? Is it simple?
So when we initially, yeah, it is simple. When we do the deployment, the first thing we need to do is I suppose, get a baseline of what is the actual current out of stocks. Often a retailer doesn't have this information. They've got a gut feel, if you like. So we can give them exact data by putting our in system on the shelf, both the topper and the camera, and then we would observe. That can take a week. I'm making the assumption here that the products that are on the shelf are already in our catalogue. If they're not, well, then that would take a week to 2 weeks of learning, if you like. And then once we turn the system on and make it a live system where it's interacting with the team on the floor, it's capturing the information immediately.
Thank you very much. Ezra, I know you have a question.
Ezra?
Okay. We have some technical issues with Ezra. So from the technological, so if I'm an owner of the shop, just last 40 seconds, what do I need to have everything installed within the infrastructure?
We would provide this, I suppose, depending on the category. The category might require only the shelf topper. Another category might require a camera. Some might require both. Where you have a high volume, high margin product like P&Gs, disposable razors, for instance, you'd want to get very granular information as frequently as possible. So in that kind of scenario, we would suggest you need both the shelf top and the shelf camera. And in terms of time to roll out, we're talking a week.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm fine. Okay, team, thank you very much for your presence here. Thank you very much for the presentation and your answers to all the questions. Very interesting one. And it's good to know that the ABSL Tech Lab initiative reaches also international and global markets, and fingers crossed for your future implementations in the Polish market. Okay, so to sum up,
thank you very much.
I believe we saw 3 amazing presentations, different ones, but very high quality level. And I believe this is the time I should pass the mic to Janusz and Ezra in order to wrap up the whole event. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Indeed, before I pass over to Ezra, I'd like to congratulate all 3 companies, so Brainly, JustTag, and WiseShelf. I need to make sure that I check the names right, because these names are actually quite telling. I mean, they very well illustrate what the companies are after. Plus, I totally see from all of our insights, starting from the initial presentation from Booksy, and then through the challenge of following the customer, how these solutions actually attempt to address those business challenges that they are supposed to solve. So congratulations to all. I do hope you continue to be successful, especially in this special time. I'm also very curious how the current situation boosts and potentially gives you more business opportunities than you have seen pre-pandemic. And this is obviously good, but in that sense, very uneasy and the challenging circumstance. But congratulations, thank you very much. Ezra, are you back with us? You want to summarize the 3 sessions from your side before we close with final remarks?
Yes, thank you very much, Janusz. This is technology, and those things may happen. For a while, I could all see you and hear you, but it seems you couldn't hear me. So I enjoyed all 3 sessions, and it's a good learning and understanding what's out there in the minds of the startup and how each of you are thinking the consumer in mind and trying to meet the consumer and customer needs. So thank you very much. Sorry that I couldn't ask my question, but team, I will send you offline later on so that I can get answered separately. Thank you very much for all the sessions. I really enjoyed and learned a lot. Thank you very much.
Super. Thank you so much. With this, we are arriving safely and successfully to the end of the event. I would like to say 2 last things. First of all, or 3 things. First of all, I wanted to thank everybody for active participations, for questions, great insights, and conversation, both for the panelists, the presenters, and the hosts. It's been wonderful. Great group to work with. And for all the people and all the participants joining us online today for the 2nd demo day of ABSL Tech Lab. The second thing I want to say, I wanted to thank our partners and who helped make these things possible. ABSL Tech Lab, again, from Gamble, Citibank, and Łódź Special Economic Zone, who continue to put their faith and partnership in this initiative. And thirdly and lastly, I wanted to cordially invite everyone to join us for a big finale of the ABSL Tech Lab conclusion this year. This is going to take place during the digital forum, ABSL Digital Forum, that will take place on December the 3rd. Please book in your calendars, and I hope you will join us in the big event that will be focused around our influence on how to shape the future of our industry and our business. So make sure you are there with us. With that, want to thank you once more, wish you a wonderful rest of the day, and see you again. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.